welcome to SVG TV News for Monday, November 28th, 2022. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. The cleanup of capital Kingstown is taking shape, and today most of the streets in the downtown area were cleared of vendors who were given until the end of the day to get into the established market facilities or find alternative accommodation to ply their trade. In this report, we hear that as the Kingstown Town Board continues with the registration process for persons who will be occupying the stalls in the two newly established markets, those already inside the downtown market are unsettled.
Streets have been vacated by vendors, and today was the first day in the new market facilities, while some vendors returned to their stalls in the Kingstown vegetable market. At the downtown vegetable market, there are two facilities. The front was fully occupied today.
It's hard, but what we could do, we can't complain. I just giving God thanks and praise that I still make a $5. It's not much, but just watching and see and hopes that it get better.
Vendors at the other downtown vegetable market said they feel disadvantaged.
Well, they say the market is empty here this morning. Nobody at all is inside it, and they come in and telling me you're taking up $30 this morning for vendor and nothing to watch. Look, my child is over there.
Why the $30? Did they say why?
They say food vending fee. Soon as they enter, vending fee and not watching here, Mace watch. I am here from morning and didn't make $1, not even half $1 bag, right? So, as a single parent, I have 4 kids, 2 baby father deceased, right? As a single parent, how am I supposed to go home today and the rest of the week to feed my children? Every day I have to go in the supermarket. Tonight I can't afford to go because I didn't make any money. So what is the solution? Market closed 5 o'clock. Sometimes 5 o'clock is when you start making $1.
A large crowd gathered in the Kingstown Town Board today as they registered for stalls in the new facilities. At the top wings of the Kingstown market, cleaning continued. The vacant area will accommodate the closed vendors.
Selling in underneath building and loan. So I'm up here now, up by the market. So all my customer and friends will come up here and support me. They could come up here. Up here is a cool place. I like it, even though it will be slow for now. But when we get a customer and people get accustomed to up here, they will come up.
There were still some vendors who were on the streets today, but according to Warden of the Kingstown Town Board, Clayton Bergen, they have until midnight to remove.
You know, you'll have to bear the consequences of your action, because persons who try to defy would either get their goods confiscated or they would be prohibited to vend in the town. So if you don't want that, just come and do what is right, take up the stalls that have been given to you, get back in your shop to ply your trade.
Bergen has asked why not allow vendors to continue for the Christmas season.
And if everyone is off the street and you want something, you'll have to go where they are to get it. You know, and you know, if you say another month, when January comes, they're going to say, well, you know, things wasn't so good, let's go until Easter and then August and then, you know, and we will never get it done. So I think this is the right time, and if you do, you know, you will tell your customers. If I go in somewhere, I'll say, well.
Now that the streets are free of encumbrances, vehicles used it as parking space, which Bergen said is not the responsibility of the town board, but that of the SVG police force. Larissa Pugsley Kidd, SVG TV News.
And fishermen in the Bookament Bay area have reportedly been asked to relocate to accommodate the development of Sandals Beaches Resort. As we hear in this report, while the fishermen welcome the resort development, they have concerns about the possible impacts on their livelihood.
15 Bookament fishermen will be affected when the clearing of the beaches area they occupy starts in a few weeks' time. One of the issues the fishermen raised is the proposed relocation, which is south of their current location.
Where they want us to put our boat is not a decent place to put our boat, because this water, they don't know about this water. It don't have to be a storm that this water will get rough.
As you can see, there's not much space between the high water and the sea. And some of the boats, they are 25 feet long. And to pull up almost 17 fishing boats here, there's no space at all. And not only to pulling up the boats, but to mend the nets, because you have to spread out the nets in order to mend them. So the other option they want to give us is to the far south, on the resort side of the island. But then the problem is you have tourists and things, still the tourist season. And to do that now, it's going to cause a problem because there are other people over there who are applying their trades.
The fishermen are accustomed to inshore fishing, which they say will be affected with the building of a groin that would extend 65 feet outwards.
Now the kind of fishing that we do is seine fishing. And we normally catch jacks, you know, and it will be very difficult for us to, when we throw, to take the seine over the groin, because it will be done by rocks.
The last public consultation in Bookament was held on Thursday, November 24th. The fishermen we spoke with said they attended 2 of the 3 consultations, noting that they are cooperating with the authorities. They welcome the development and are looking forward to a meeting with investors and relevant authorities.
Because what I told him about the groin in the water, the investor said he didn't know it was so. So he have to go back to the drawing board and we come back and locate with the fishermen to see how they can operate in the water. We want our fair share as fisher folks in Bookament. That's all we need. That's the fair share. Because they're already up there. We don't want to reach high, but we want something we can support our family and have something to live off of.
Meanwhile, construction works on the resort continues. The $100 million investment by Sandals represents the largest tourism investment in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is expected to create 1,000 jobs for Vincentians. Larissa Pugsley-Kidd, SVG TV News.
Thank you, Larissa. And Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on radio on Sunday commented on the recent protests in North Leeward over the Quarry project. He said the issues being raised, including that of an environmental assessment, were all canvassed in Parliament before, noting that there were more people from town involved in the protest action than those from North Leeward.
We had remember the opposition brought emotion on this in the House. And remember, Julian Francis demolished them on all the issues, dealt with all the issues which they raised in there and dealt with them more than satisfactorily in relation to environmental studies and approval by the board, the planning authorities and all of it. All of that was dealt with, you know, but they believe in that if you repeat lies frequently enough, they will stick. And all kind of thing about the thing is so bad, it's all of Rose Hall. People will have dust on them, and I mean some real alarmist and outlandish things. I just don't understand.
The Prime Minister said they are taking account of all the environmental issues as it relates to the project, and the planning authorities are dealing with these matters.
Nowadays, people they want to go through the institutional arrangements. You try the issue on the road with a lot of lies, just like what they did with between 2015 and 2020. Ralph thieved the elections in 2015. They behaved so badly, broke all kind of laws, and behaving and they just with impunity, a kind of Trumpism. And then when the matter was heard in the court, what was the result? So the evidence was sifted, heard, examined, cross-examined. An experienced judge says they had no case. The planning authorities make a submission. They came to the Parliament. They couldn't sustain their resolution. But they're just continuing with the same propagandistic foolishness. You there with me still?
Yes, we're here.
Yeah, because what is happening is this. they want to tie you up and detain you with a lot of, that you have to take a lot of time to go over the same thing to answer. And unfortunately, in the modern day, somebody has to be doing it.
As the 2022 hurricane season comes to an end, Vincentians are being urged not to let their guards down. The advice comes from forecaster with the SVG Met Service, Gregory Cato, who on NBC Radio face-to-face program this morning says with just 2 days left before the end of the season, people should not get complacent.
We definitely should never keep our guards down, because as we saw, yes, in 2013, we can have that upper level trough and sometimes you just sit there, linger there a bit, and we can have these showers, sometimes for days. And as before I mentioned, the intensity could vary. So, and it has a way of, happening during the night, the period overnight, So we have to be very mindful. Yeah, again, individual preparedness is very important, and it should always remain fresh within our minds, given, the hazard of last year and so forth. Bear this in mind, and also just know that we are transitioning into the dry season. We are not in, and we are not out. Yes, although the hurricane season officially ends in 2 days' time, just know that we are transitioning. So expect a few trough here and there. Some possibly we can have rainfall events, but these are things, as we say, at the Met Office, we are constantly monitoring.
Cato noted that there were 21 tropical cyclones, 14 named storms, and 8 hurricanes, including 2 major hurricanes for the 2022 season. He says while SVG was not directly impacted by any of these storms or hurricanes, their office still issued numerous flood advisories, watches, and warnings throughout the season for less developed systems.
For example, on July the 31st, we were impacted by a tropical wave. That tropical wave, we experienced maximum wind gusts of about 29 knots roughly at Argyle, which is around 33 miles per hour. This occurred for like 11 consecutive minutes, which are basically 11 minutes straight. The result of this was like down utility poles and damages to houses and other infrastructure. This was mainly on the island of Beckway. And of course, damage assessments are still ongoing in terms of, what occurred and some of these losses. Apart from that, we also had Tropical Storm Fiona, which affected us around September the 17th and 18th. We were affected by feeder bands, actually. It did not directly impact us. And it moved over the island of Guadeloupe and Oia, which is basically a community to the north of the islands, received 256.4, which is about 10 inches during just that 2 days. So we even though we were not affected per se directly by a storm or hurricane, you could see the impacts that we had.
There have been some criticism in the public about the timeliness of information and warnings given about weather events that may occur. Cato says he is confident they've been doing their best to get the information out to the public.
So one of our key competencies is to ensure that we analyze and monitor the weather situation continuously. We are providing a service not only for the airport, because as you know, we are stationed at the airport, but for the public. So what you see, what you get at 6 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m., we do this every hour. Now, we also provide a 3-day outlook. So for persons wondering about storms, not storms, less developed systems, lesser developed systems, right? We have an outlook, and persons could find that at www.meteor.gov.vc, and it's the section to the right. You would see this area marked Outlook, Weather Outlook, and this covers for the next 3 days. I think it's more a matter of where persons get the information from. So I would like to encourage persons to utilize the website provided by the Met Service. We are also not an office that operates 24 hours, but the fact that we constantly monitor this, what's happening out there. If there's a trough, for example, we continuously monitor, and another competence is that we warn.
And Vincentians are being encouraged to buy locally produced this Christmas season. The encouragement comes from Deputy Executive Director of Invest SVG, Nadine Agar-Juilliard, on WeFM morning program as the country's premier investment promotion agency. Invest SVG starts its Buy Local campaign this week. Agar tells that a Buy Local campaign is the best way to help build and strengthen SVG's economy.
It affords us the opportunity to support entrepreneurship, to increase jobs, so there's more job creation, and to assist in the alleviation of poverty. In addition to that, it also has health benefits. We want to make sure that everybody's eating healthy, and that in turn contributes to rural development, and it lifts our country as a point of pride. It lifts our country as a point of pride, and everybody else can see the fruits of our labor. And furthermore, it also assists us in heading into a direction of food security. That means we don't depend on anybody else to feed us in the event of anything. So it has a Buy Local campaign has a tremendous amount of pluses. It has a tremendous amount of pluses.
Edgar said that Invest SVG will be partnering with supermarkets across St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the Buy Local campaign.
The whole Buy Local campaign is to launch a Buy Local campaign to encourage Vincentians to support local businesses. So we want to work with the supermarkets. So going forward, you should see that the supermarkets have in the front of this, in the very front of their stores as you come in, shelves dedicated completely to Vincentian products. It will be something like in the Independence, because we use our Independence colors and we brand the shelf and everything, so everybody knows that this shelf is populated with local products. And we'll work with restaurants and hotels to incorporate local products into their menus and into their cocktails and so on. And we go on radio to talk about the necessity and of awareness for Buy Local.
A mural to preserve the memory and history of air travel in St. Vincent and the Grenadines was officially unveiled last Thursday at the headquarters of Quarry Distribution Limited Inc. at the Diamond Estate, which was the country's first airport site. Chairperson of the SVG National Trust, Deidre Myers, said that the project came about through discussions between Quarry and the National Trust.
We are here today as a result of discussions between the St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Trust and Quarry's Hazels Incorporated regarding the proposed development of this site. These initial discussions took place in November 2016, and then we discussed possible scenarios for commemorating the Diamond Airport. In December 2020, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Trust opened dialogue with Quarry Distribution Limited regarding erecting a monument in commemoration of the Diamond Airport. Quarry Distribution Limited made available this area of the compound, and we settled on a mural to be placed on this 100+ foot boundary wall. St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Trust then invited 2 artists to submit concept design of the aviation story from Diamond to Argyle. The draft of the one, which will soon be officially unveiled, was selected, and together with artist Mr. Maxon Rock, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Trust finalized the design.
CEO of Quarry Distribution Inc., Jimmy Ford, congratulated the St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Trust on the initiative and commended the artist on his impressive work.
And I must take this opportunity to first of all thank and congratulate the National Trust for his hard work and like an unsung hero, because you don't always have an opportunity to see the work of the National Trust as thousands of persons would visit here over the next few years and see this. But they gave us some advice, some of which, well, not some of it, but this one in particular, I really struggle to understand how much education this could provide and how many persons would see this. But when it's unveiled fully, you would see, as I have seen, that it's really a work of art. And a sound history class. I must also take this opportunity to thank and congratulate the very shy artist. He's shy to talk, but he's not shy to paint. And you would see the kind of work, impressive. Work that could class with any you see across the world.
The artist who was responsible for designing the mural, Maxon Rock, said that he was grateful for the opportunity provided for him and his team to showcase their talent.
Well, I must say that has been a good journey for me. I must give thanks to this Quarry distribution and also the National Trust to letting me display my talent, and the rest workers who work with me as well, the rest artists, and also to let people know that there's still a lot of artists in St. Vincent who can do good work. All right. I must say that the most interesting thing about this is learning about the different airports. It's not actually the painting for me, but just learning about the different airports. That was the most interesting part. For coming out here, every single evening, we used to work at night so that we could get the project up more faster with a projector. So for me, the journey was really interesting. I enjoy mostly the different, knowing about the different airports. I was not even born as yet to see the airports of them. Yeah, I'm still young. So I must thank God as well for letting us see, view the history of St. Vincent, where we were, where we come from, and where we are now.
The mural, which took less than a month to be completed, is expected to attract a number of visitors.